Hey everybody, just wanted to take some time to check in with everyone to see how everyone is doing. This has been a week, a month, several months actually. Oops, let me turn this down. Um, but I just wanted to again just check in to see how you guys are doing with your mental health. Are you taking care of yourself? Are you staying in the presence of God? Are you eating right? Are you doing everything necessary to keep yourself strong in this time? I think I entitled the message, Thank You. I just really want to stop by and thank everybody who have been protesting peacefully, because in the encounter room, we do support protesting peacefully. Um, in regards to the looting, that's not necessary. That's not a good example of what God would want us to do, but I'm not here to talk about that. I just want to check up on you and just to love on you and just to kind of give you a little bit of feedback. There's been so much conversation about Mr. George Floyd, who was murdered senselessly in all of the world's eyes. And it was devastating. At least it was for me and for a lot of people I've spoken to, black, white, doesn't matter. A lot of people that in my circle, in my tribe, we do not support that, and it was very hurtful and very painful to watch. Um, and I just wanted to kind of, you know, just kind of reflect on some things. It's just amazing that Kaepernick, he took that knee, and one of the headlines read, "Take a knee: How a quarterback's simple gesture became the U.S. protest rallying cry." This young man, Colin Kaepernick, took that knee, and he was criticized by so many people in America, but he stood on his principle and what he believed. And I just want to encourage you all today to stand on the principles of God and know that God is no God. He's not a God of respect or person. It didn't matter that he was a quarterback in the NFL. It doesn't matter where you're at in your life. He can use you if you allow him to. If you invite him in and you just want to be used by God, because God knows we've been used by people. I know I have. And it's not a pleasant thing, but when you are used by God, it's such a different experience. It's such a love. It's such a I can't even explain it, what God has done for me. And I'm praying that you will have an encounter with him as well, because that's what his desire is. And that's what I'm seeing all around the world, that people are having an encounter with God, because it's only God that can provoke people to come out, even in the pandemic, and rally around such a cause as this. It took the world to be shut down for us to come and for God to be able to do this miraculous things, even in a pandemic. I know that, some of you have taken some losses um, through this, and my prayers are for you. You lost loved ones, co-workers, your friends, spouses, children through all of this, and my heart goes out to you, but it is not in vain. God said in his word that he's going to turn everything around for our good, for those who believe in him, that are called according to his purpose, not our purpose. So what we're seeing, even through all of this, people coming together, loving on one another, um, is amazing to me. You guys know, for those who know me, I'm a world traveler. I love people. People doesn't, black, white, Asian, doesn't matter. I love people. So to see this, the rainbow, this is the rainbow God is really talking about, of God's promise, because this is the promise that God wants. He wants us to love on one another. It's one of the greatest commandments. If you would, he said, if you love your neighbors as you love yourself. So as we saw this man life tragically be taken by a knee, we still have to understand that it was a knee that Colin Kaepernick took. It will be whatever God called you to do, you have to do it. No matter if it's popular, unpopular, who cares, who doesn't care, but we just need to be concerned about God. But I don't want to keep you guys too long, but I just wanted to even talk to my friends who are not African American, African, who have messaged me. and who have opened up conversation with me and who've allowed me to pour into them. I want to thank you. I want to thank you. And, I want to just, I don't want you to think just about this one person, George Floyd. I want to tell you just about a few others that you can do your research on. And it shouldn't matter, and I'm just going to talk just about George Floyd for a minute. It doesn't matter what his life was. God has promised for us all. He did not deserve that. He did not deserve to die and have a knee in his neck for 8 minutes. But I just wanted to share 2 other stories with you that have always resonated with me. And maybe you could never, ever relate fully to my story or someone who looks like me, our story and our plight here in this country and all around the world. But I just want to mention Kalief Browder. Kalief Browder, he was a young man who died at 22 years old. And I'm going to read this. It said that he was born May 25th, 1993. June 6th to 2015 was the last time he took his breath here. He was an African-American from the Bronx, New York. Browder was held at the Rikers Island prison complex without trial for allegedly stealing a backpack between 2010 and 2013 when his family was unable to make a bail just of $10,000. He was put in solitary confinement for 2 of these years. Can you imagine a 16-year-old in a prison with grown men? They said that even when he came out, they kept telling him, you're going to get a lot of money. But don't you know that money can't buy you? It can't buy your life back. This young man went to prison for a book bag, not a youth facility, not no rehab, but a book bag. And he couldn't even get a trial. So I don't want you to just continue to think about George Floyd, because as horrific that was, we already know that there was 2 other incidences leading up to even George Floyd. But that young man and his family, he's gone now. He took his own life because it was so much on him. It was so much for him to deal with life after being in prison, solitary confinement. They said that there was rats crawling all over him. God knows he could have been raped, but they said he was beat up. A little boy. That could have been your son or my son. So why do we stand? Why do we protest? Why do we have to vote? Why do we have to continue to change policies in the judiciary law when it comes to African Americans? Because it's necessary. It's necessary. I want to mention the Central Park 5, and I hope you please take notes. Please study this yourself. Central Park 5. I'm going to 4 of the 5 youths. It was a young woman tragically raped, a young white Caucasian lady tragically raped in Central Park at 28 years old. There had to be like 40 kids playing in the park that night. But these cops, and just back to Kalief Browder, that was cops again. And then the correctional facilities, we can't just stop with the police officers. We got to go into the correctional facilities. It's not fair. It's not right. It's not justice. The Central Park 5 were young boys. They had to be from ages 14 to 17 years old. Yusuf, I'm going to name them because they deserve to have their names read. Yusuf Salaam served 6 years and 8 months in juvenile detention. Raymond Santana served 6 years and 8 months. Kevin Richardson, 7 years. Antron McCray was 5 to 10 years. Corey Wise, 6 to 15 years. for not something they found out through DNA they didn't really do. They were kids. Corey Wise only went to the police station with one of his friends just to make sure nothing bad happens. He wasn't even there. And he spent more time in jail than all of them. So I'm asking you to please write your politicians. Please continue to protest peacefully. Please continue to have dialogue with those who don't look like you. It's so important. It means everything. It means everything to continue to know that God's greatest plan is for us to love one another. And how can we know God and not love our neighbors? This is what the Bible says. We cannot continue to be a country or know people or be a people that carry the Bible and not know what God says about people, about loving one another, about standing up for one another. Vote. Vote. And if you can discredit what this president says, what our president says, then shame on you. Shame on you. I'm not saying that he doesn't do some things correct, but when you don't love people, all people, it's a problem, and you don't have compassion. Compassion. These could have been your kids. You could have been born in my Black skin. I remember me being pulled over. Had 3 young kids at the time. I'm driving through Trenton. For those who don't know me, I'm from Lawrence. It's a suburb. My school was predominantly a white school. I played field hockey. I had predominantly a lot of white friends. But this day I was driving in Trenton and I had my 3 young kids. I had to be in my 20s. And they pulled me over. They put me over the top of the hood of the car. And they said somebody robbed the bank with my description. My 3 kids had to look from the car while I'm leaned over. These are the things that happen every day. Every day. And when we have to train our children up, how when they get stopped by cops, how to act, what not to say, how not to look directly in their eyes, all these things. I remember telling my son, I said, son, the hardest job in America is being a Black man. And it's no different. He is almost 29 years old. It's no different today. I have to tell my grandson that. So I just wanted to love on you and all those who have the brown skin, Black skin like me. I love you. I love you. And although this is unjust, it's wrong. It's not God's plan for our lives. And we must stick together. We must love on people who look like us, who don't look like us. And we must fight the good fight together. So I just want to encourage you all today. And I'm sorry I'm a little bit emotional, but this is an emotional time, I hate injustice and I hate to see anybody mistreated. I hate to see people hurt because when they hurt, I hurt. And so just wanted to love on you guys. All right. God bless. Bye.